Like a small bug that burrows and festers and grows and becomes something bigger than it could have ever believed itself to be, this Nintendo Switch 2 rumor started off yesterday, and I don't like where it's going. I think we need to be very clear on what's going on here and make sure that there isn't a mixed message being spread. I'm going to sneeze, but before I do, good morning, Oreo! And good morning, Switch fans. That might be the goofiest intro to ever plague this 705 episode long series. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. We got some new games to talk about, new game footage, and then this Switch 2 nonsense that I think needs to be squashed like the bug it is before it gets any bigger. Now, you know me. I love the idea of a new Switch. I love new consoles. It's my favorite part of the entire gaming existence, and I wish for nothing more than the Switch 2 to be out and be awesome. But the rumor that's been spreading, I think, is being done in not good faith, and maybe in jumping to conclusions, and maybe in not really thinking things through. So we'll talk about that. But first, I want to let you know that Pac-Man is coming back to Switch on May the 9th. This is another battle royale for Pac-Man. Pac-Man 99, that was a game that got its love out there, even though it doesn't exist anymore. Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs is coming out May 9th. This is a battle royale, very traditional Pac-Man, but with lots of different power-ups, and you're eating other Pac people, chomping them, the champ of chomping. This was actually a Stadia game. You remember Google Stadia? That was a failed video game venture, and it has not been picked up on any other platform since. They're bringing it back. They are bringing it back, Namco, returning Chomp Champs to Switch and other platforms on May the 9th. Pretty cool game. I want to check it out. It was $20 on Stadia. It better be $20 on Switch. Do not try to up the price of this. This is an eShop game. This is a downloadable game. This is a Battle Royale game. Pac-Man 99 is missed by many, but hopefully Chomp Champs can come in and at least be just as good, maybe even better. Now, speaking of better, Epic Mickey Rebrushed is a game that was announced recently at Nintendo's Partner Showcase, and I have high hopes that the game would be better. That has been confirmed for me by new previews from GameSpot, including 8 new minutes of gameplay footage, where they confirm that, hey, the camera and the controls have been redone. Oh my goodness, golf clap. Give me a golf clap for the Masters weekend, because this is what the game needed. I love Disney, and so I remember playing Epic Mickey 14 years ago on my Wii and thinking it controlled like a tech demo, or it controlled like a game that Disney made for their parks and didn't really consult with any actual... I don't know, it just felt bad. But knowing that the camera has been reworked, knowing that the controls have been reworked, and knowing that if you want to live in the past, you can still go back to the motion controls of yesteryear, this is actually looking pretty good. I've kind of had just a hankering lately for these old school collectathon type platformers. I've mentioned Cavern of Dreams was a great time, short but sweet on Nintendo Switch. Corn Kid 64 looks pretty cool. And now Epic Mickey Rebrushed, not as much of a collectathon as those, but it does still give me those kind of vibes of like a game that wouldn't really be made nowadays. It's kind of like, how they brought back SpongeBob, and they bring back some of these titles that have a feeling and a sense of nostalgia from like the early aughts, the early 2000s. And that's what Epic Mickey has for me. It also has some nice side-scrolling stages that are more platform focused. If it controls well, it honestly looks pretty good. Like, they've made the colors pop and giving sort of a moody, dark Disney story that isn't just, oh my gosh, we're going to Disney World, but has more... It's got that Fantasia dark element to it. I think that's really cool. I think this could appeal once it releases. Hopefully we get a release date soon, because we currently don't have one. It's supposed to be out later this year, and I am actually excited for a remake of Epic Mickey on the Wii, which is pretty crazy. But this new footage combined with the new knowledge and the new reworks, yeah, it's looking good, and I think you should keep it on your radar. Let's talk Nintendo Switch 2. Because I thought we were all under the impression and the understanding that Switch 2 was not coming out this year. Remember, I was really hopeful Switch 2 would be out this year. Many thought it would be out in 2024, but then there were all sorts of rumors and leaks beginning with Brazil and leading on to Bloomberg and other places, Eurogamer, and more that said, hey, it's actually internally been delayed till 2025, whether that's to build up stock, get more games ready, or just because the Switch is still killing it, who knows, but the system has been pushed out of this calendar year. And so we were eagerly anticipating what Nintendo would do to sort of audible and change out the release schedule and give us some new games, but they haven't done that yet. They have not yet put forth anything beyond what was already announced last year in the form of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2. Yes, they didn't add in Endless Ocean Luminous, but that's out before those other two titles, so the road ends with Luigi's Mansion 2 at the end of June. and we were supposed to get a Indie World presentation and a Nintendo Direct in April. That was rumored by Brazil and confirmed by some other leakers. We had people like Necrophilippe and Nate Drake commenting in saying like, yeah, they've heard similar stuff. And now that hasn't happened. We are almost midway through April and we have no peep from Nintendo. And a lot of their posts have been regurgitated and boring and slow. They're not posting as much on Twitter. They're reiterating a lot of things about Princess Peach. They're not talking about new stuff because, frankly, there's no new stuff to talk about. And this has led some YouTubers and some others to start thinking that maybe, yes, indeed, Nintendo Switch 2 is actually coming out in 2024. And the reason for Nintendo's silence is not because they're still trying to figure things out, is not because the lineup is very slight. It's because actually there's a calm before the storm when they announce Switch 2, and they're basically clearing the entire slate so they can reveal a new system for holiday 2024. Now, I think this is personally jumping the gun with a freaking triple jump. Mario's triple jump, and I've seen some people take it like, oh, maybe the Switch 2 is going to be announced soon after all, and then others take it super far like, it's coming out with Mario, it's coming out with Animal Crossing, this holiday is going to be crazy. And look, mano y mano, I think this would be the most exciting universe for me to exist in because I want the Switch 2 so bad. I want it in 2024 very badly. I think it'd be incredibly fun. I'm ready to move forward into the next generation of Nintendo hardware. I'm ready for new games. I want that new 3D Mario so bad, especially after playing so much Odyssey lately and just figuring out like, wow, that team is actually so darn good. Even 7 years later, their game is amazing. Please give us what they've been working on for freaking ever now. But I gotta pump the brakes for you. I gotta tell you that I think this does not mean what some are assuming it means. Nintendo not having a Direct in the first 10-11 days of April doesn't all of a sudden mean that the Switch 2 is a go for 2024. And I think it's dangerous to start flip-flopping, and I really think we need to wait for what Nintendo is going to do at this point. We're kind of in an uncharted territory where Nintendo has been quiet for a long time. They did not have their traditional February General Direct, instead opting for a partner showcase. There's been no Indie World in 2024, and we have no sign of the next Direct. Leakers are quiet, and it seems like nobody knows what's going on. Now, this could be because something big is about to happen. This could be because Nintendo is having to rework plans. This could be because they just are waiting till summer because they don't have much to show. I firmly believe Nintendo will have more games this year beyond Luigi's Mansion and Paper Mario. I don't think that's something you have to worry about. The lineup could be smaller than we'd like, but I know that they will have games beyond those two. They're not going to take 6 months off and just say, well, we hope our old games sell. But I do think that while this silence is weird, and while I did think we would have some word from Nintendo in Indie World or a Direct early in April, I don't think we can say this means the Switch 2 is coming. Look, if the Switch 2 ends up coming out in 2024, holly freaking Lulia, I will do a dance, go crazy, and it will be an absolute blessing, a beautiful miracle, and wonderful. But all our signs from actual leakers and from actual people that have been reputable before in providing information say that this thing is delayed. And Nintendo not having a Direct on schedule is honestly more par for the course than you might want to believe. Nintendo has really been kind of off pattern for a couple of years now, and they've realized or decided that they don't have to do things the same traditional pattern-based way to still be successful. Does anybody see the Switch falling off because they haven't had a Direct thus far? No. Does anybody see people stop being interested in Nintendo games because they haven't had an Indie World? No. They've actually had their Indie World Twitter be quite relevant and quite populated with new game announcements, release date announcements, and drops, so that's still going on. Nintendo's quiet period is definitely interesting. It's something to hypothesize about, and I do hope that it leads to some cool stuff, and I think it will. I mean, we have the Epic Mickey Metroid Prime 4 linked leak from Jeff Grubb saying his source that said Epic Mickey Rebrush would be out this year, also said Metroid Prime 4 would be out this year. We know that, there's a lot of things Nintendo could do to make this year exciting, and hey, maybe there will be a Switch 2 announcement. Maybe there will be actually a Switch 2 presentation. But I don't think that we can say that because there hasn't been a Direct yet, oh my gosh, the Switch 2 is coming. And I think those videos, those comments are very dangerous. And even though I'm someone that loves to buy into the hype, I love to be excited, I love to cover all the leaks and rumors, this is one where I put my foot down and say, we absolutely cannot say the Switch 2 is coming in 2024 until more things happen. Thus far, we are at the tip of the iceberg for what could end up being something very strange. And even if that very strange thing is that Nintendo doesn't have an April Direct, I would put more money on that, meaning Nintendo just has a June Direct than that they're revealing and releasing Switch 2 in 2024. Like I said, I would love for this to be the case. If it ends up happening, I'll eat my words and say, thank goodness, Furukawa. I really appreciate you. I cannot wait to play your new Mario, but I don't think it's happening. I don't think that Nintendo's silence indicates a Switch 2 Palooza. I think it indicates a changing of plans and maybe that the leakers just got poor information. It seems like Nintendo has been cracking down on leaks and sources much more over the last 6 to 12 months. We have far less, basically outside of Pyoro. We don't really know what's happening. And Pyoro hasn't squawked in a while. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe there won't be a Direct until June, but it probably doesn't mean that it's going to be a Switch 2 reveal. I still expect Nintendo to say something about the Switch 2 this year, but I am fully on board with the Switch 2 launching in 2025 against what I want, my wishes, but I think that makes more sense, and I don't think that we should Switch 2 2024 train. Definitely not yet, definitely not for a while, definitely not until Nintendo actually makes their next move. So let's just be patient and let it happen. I know that's sort of like against how I normally feel, which is getting really excited and just anticipating, but I've seen enough of the coverage this year. I've seen enough of what's going on, and I've seen enough with Nintendo, and I pay enough attention to their oddities, especially lately. I don't think this is all that strange, and even though it seems weird, like, oh, there's no new games beyond Luigi's Mansion, they still have time. They still have the whole rest of April, and they got May, and they got June to announce more. May 8th is a very interesting date. That is when they're having their next investors call. That's when they're having their next report and meeting, and that's when I would really expect something to happen by that date. They'd want to say, hey, we got more on the slate besides 2 games. A third if you consider Metroid Prime 4 with a TBD annotation. Maybe they could even go into that, though, with those 3 games. They still have 2 yet to release. They could say, we're planning, we're working on things. They might even say we're working on a new console, but they don't have to announce it, and it's not doom and gloom. It's not calamity. I think by May 8th, we'll hear something more from Nintendo, even another small first-party game, like something for July or August, or maybe a Direct, or maybe an Indie World, but let's at least wait till May 8th, find out what happens at the investors meeting, and then we can revisit this conversation. But in the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you're going to pick up Epic Mickey or the Chomp Champs, if you agree that the Switch 2 probably still is not coming in 2024, and we shouldn't jump to conclusions. Absolutely not yet. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.